Wow.
It was built in 1918. The roof is an African green slate. That's the original roof that was put on the house. That's the color of it, the way it was made.
I've never seen a slate roof like that.
No.
It's pretty cool.
It's very
In the area I grew up, it's all slate roofs because that's the industry.
Yeah.
But not green like that.
Not like that.
Now, as I say, that's the original roof. Next year will be 100 years old. So it did pretty good for 100 years.
Yeah.
This is owned by an attorney now. That's his law office.
Okay.
And that's a really good thing because he'll maintain that property like it's supposed to be maintained.
Right. Yeah.
He has the financial wherewithal to do it. I'm going to go back to Andy just a second. When he did the play, the record, No Time for Sergeants, a few years later he did some Broadway plays. And one of those plays was No Time for Sergeants. And that's where he met Don Knotts in No Time for Sergeants.
Oh, okay.
And he and Don were, of course, lifelong friends from Vietnam.
Yeah.
Now, the house on the corner at Trimmed in Green was built in 1910, this granite house. The one trimmed in white beside of it was built a few years later by his brother, who saved all the scraps and built his house with it.
Wow. Scraps.
Now, the Wells Fargo Bank, as you can see, the pieces of granite are smaller and thinner. It's more like a veneer or an architectural granite rather than a structural granite. Vice versa on BB&T. You can see those are big pieces.
Okay.
And it really holds up itself in something.
Nice.
Now, we used to say that First Citizens didn't get the memo. But I found out that their largest depositor is a company that makes the brick. So you got to dance with the one that brung you every once in a while.
Yep.
Absolutely.
The PNC Bank is using granite on theirs.
It's interesting.
If you look across the street, you'll see the little church there. Now, one of the stories goes, when the guy got through building it, somebody said, well, why didn't you build that church any bigger? And he said, well, I built it big enough to hold all the Christians in Mount Airy. And a lady asked me the other day, she said, well, is it full yet? And she got me real good on that one. I'm going to stop here a minute and ask you something again about that camping thing.
About what?
About your camping thing.
Oh, okay.
What kind of, are you driving a motorhome?
We have a 38-foot fifth wheel, a Raptor toy hauler, because we have a motorcycle with us.
Okay.
We do a lot of motorcycle riding on our days off. We don't have our motorcycle with us up here, but...
Have you rode the Tail of the Dragon yet?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. We've been on some nicer rides than that. I mean, everybody wants to do the Tail of the Dragon, but scenic-wise, I mean, it's something to say you did it, but there's a lot better rides than that.
Going down the parkway is good anyway.
The parkway is nice, but you know the nicest ride we've been on is on the way up to Highlands, North Carolina, with all the waterfalls and everything. Beautiful. That Moonshine 28, they call that route.
I had heard that. I've never been up there, but I've heard that.
It's a beautiful ride. I'd do that any day over the Dragon.
Again, got distracted. I just wanted to ask you that before I forgot it. Now, on the left, you'll see this place. That's the old North State Winery. And that used to be Belk Department Store. It used to be a service station before that. This is the Mount Airy Museum of Regional History. That used to be one of the 4 hardware stores.
Okay.
On Main Street. This big green building, that used to be one of the 4 hardware stores.
Yeah.
Beautiful
Looks like
building.
an old hardware store.
And they were huge. They had everything from nails to tiles. Just everything you wanted.
Before they had Walmart Supercenters.
Yeah. And before the Lowe's Hardware, big lots, not big lots.
Yeah. Home Depot.
Home Depot, yeah. Now, the building on the corner with the big clock on it, that used to be the First National Bank.
Okay.
It's now the Mount Airy Visitor Center and Chamber of Commerce. Are y'all going back tonight or are you spending the night?
No, we're spending the night.
Okay. Did you get here early enough to eat at Snappy Lunch?
We did not. We
Well,
were here
we were
early
early
enough,
enough.
but we ended up going into Floyd's barbershop and we carried on with Floyd a little too long. We had a lot of fun in there.
Bill.
With Bill.
Yeah.
Yep.
His daddy, well, I'm sure he told you that.
Yeah,
Daddy
yeah.
Russell running for what, 55, 60 years.
Yeah, we really liked him.
If you get a
But
chance,
we're in town, so we're going to go back tomorrow morning and have breakfast in there.
well, if you see Bill again, tell him that Steve, how can I place this in the right term? Tell him there's no more hair left to cut. He's done too good a job of it. His daddy did too good a job.
Yeah. Well, that's the hamming up video that we made. Was him trying to find the hair on my head.
He charged you a finder's fee, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Pretty much.
That's where I get my hair cut. Palace.
Okay.
And I used to work with that guy. And this has literally been 50 years ago.
Yeah. She cuts mine with the clippers. It don't take much.
Okay, do you remember Ellie Walker in the show?
Ellie Walker in the pharmacy?
Yes.
She was the girl druggist.
Yes.
Yeah.
This was named for her.
Oh,
This is Walker's
okay.
Soda Fountain.
Yeah.
It used to be Lamb Drugstore. It started in 1925. If you'll notice, the chairs are chrome bottom, the stools, the
Yeah.
soda fountain, the floors, the checkerboard, black and white. It's got that retro.
We wanted to
50s
go
look.
in there, but that was closed.
Yeah, for some reason they're I guess they're on vacation. I don't know.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But the guy does a great job. That's a really good place.
Yeah.
And it's got that retro look.
Oh,
but,
we love that.
But it's not retro. That's original.
Yeah.
That's the way.
That's
it's
the
always
best. Yeah.
That and is the best.
Because we ate at that burger place just down the street, and that looked pretty retro on the inside.
Oh, Barney's.
No.
No.
You went to
Leon's?
Leon's.
Yeah.
It looked like kind of a typical diner.
They're
in there.
from New Jersey.
Yeah.
And he came here probably 45, 50 years ago. His dad
Wow.
did. And they had two of those places for a while.
Oh, is that right?
Mhm.
Wasn't a bad place to eat though.
No loitering! Nip it in the bud!
Chrome back on that dope.
Okay, you see the little place that says cash a check?
Yeah.
That used to be the Grand Theater.
Oh wow.
It looked like that other than the marquee didn't come out like that one.
Yeah.
But you went in, the ticket booth was right in the middle. You went in, walked down the aisles on either side, had a big organ in the back of it like the old days.
Wow.
And that's where I went to see the first movie I went to.
Wow.
Okay.
Now you know where Floyd's is
Yeah.
Happy Lunch. Now you remember, of course, Ernest T. Bass in the show.
Uh huh.
Ernest T. wanted to join the Army
Yep.
so we could get him a uniform.
Yep.
Wanted to get him a woman. Somebody would kiss him in the mouth.
Yeah.
And my dog kisses me in the mouth. That is just funnier than crap to me for some reason.
Yeah. Right square in the jaw.
But anyway, they wouldn't take him, made him mad, and he started throwing rocks and breaking out windows. And they called Andy from the draft board and said, he's crazy. If you hurry, you can catch him. He'll be at the intersection of Pine and Main Street.
Okay.
And the big building on the left is the post office. And the Army recruiter in that time period, in the 40s, was upstairs in the post office.
Okay.
And you can see our post office is twice the size of the building that's built out of
Yeah.
the park.
Probably don't even use 3/4 of it.
I guarantee you they don't use 3/4. They
Yeah.
have another building across town where they do all the sorting.
Oh
That makes
boy.
no dang sense to me, but I guess I'm not smart enough to be a politician. That's the right way to say that.
You're too logical.
Yeah. Too much common sense for that.
But anyway, this is the intersection they were talking about with Ernest T. Okay, y'all haven't been to the museum with the playhouse yet, have you? The Andy
Yeah.
Griffiths Museum?
Yep.
Yeah. Earlier
That's
Oh,
today.
that's
first-
right. I remember you saying that now
Yeah.
that you already been.
That's the first place we went.
Yeah.
Well, that was a good thing.
Because
to
we
do.
had never been there before. We'd been in town 2 other times, but just passing through where we only had like an hour or so to spend.
Uh-huh.
So this is the first time we had any time to actually, hang out here for a while.
That was the right thing because everything else now is kind of gravy. You did the main thing,
Yeah.
which is really good.
Yeah, we enjoyed that. We spent some time, reading everything.
See the statue of Andy
Yeah.
Griffiths.
Oh yeah, we had
That was
a
donated by TV Land. You saw Betty Lynn, Thelma Lou's
Yeah.
display downstairs.
Yep.
And she lives here now. She's been here 11 years.
Oh, I didn't realize that. I didn't
Oh, I
see
thought they might have said it on the thing.
Oh, they maybe did. Maybe I missed that part.
And she lives in a retirement community. She's 91.
Isn't that funny? She came back here.
Well,
Hey, when
she'd
the
been-
show really was never even filmed here or anything.
Well, what's interesting too is she'd been here 2 or 3 years, and she got mugged at Walmart.
Really?
Oh, no.
It's kind of classic.
What's wrong with these people?
Well, but she comes
Walmart.
to the. Yeah. Well, that's why
Yeah.
she comes to the Andy Griffith Playhouse. The third Friday of every month.
Oh, is that right?
That's all.
Oh, that's cool.
But she's 91. So
She about the only one left?
At that age period, yeah.
Well, George Lindsay's still alive, isn't he? Goober?
No, I think Goober's dead.
Did he pass on?
I think he died. I know Eleanor Donahue, Miss Ellie.
Yeah.
She's still alive.
Okay. Jim Neighbors is gone too, isn't he?
No, he's still alive, but he's very poor health.
He lived in Hawaii,
He
didn't
lives
he?
in Hawaii, has a
Yeah,
macadamia.
been over there for years.
Okay, we're going to turn it to Water Tower. That's where Andy's home place is. Have you been by it before?
We have. Guess what? We're the ones renting it today.
Congratulations. Now, the last person that told you that, I'll tell you what happened.
You have a lot of money to spend.
No.
Because it's our anniversary, I decided to splurge for us.
I said, you really staying there tonight? And the guy said, yeah. I said, you got your key in your pocket? He said, yeah. You want to go in? I said, yeah, sure.
So you been in it? Because we got our key if you want to see it.
I have been in it. I had never been in it till then.
Yeah.
And I was the biggest.
I just saw you when we were opening up for the first time. You were parked right here. You kind of stayed back a little bit, I noticed.
Yeah. I saw that when
we had the big Dodge truck, white truck sitting
Oh,
here.
yeah.
Because I didn't know if I could make that driveway or not, but now that I've looked at it, I'm going to try to make it in there.
You pull yours with a dually.
Yeah,
Yeah.
big Dodge dually.
Fine.
Okay. For how much?
For $800.
He bought this for $800. Wow.
Now this little closed-in area was part of a porch, and it was done later
Yeah.
by one of the owners of it.
Yeah.
And you know, inside it's a small place inside.
Yeah.
His daddy lived here from 1935 to 1966, mother and daddy. Andy lived here till 45. That's when he graduated from high school. He graduated from college in 49. He got married. He lived in Goldsboro, North Carolina. Then he moved a little bit, and he was in California for a long time. In 1966, Andy was living in California. There was 1 year left on the Andy Griffiths Show contract. His parents were getting old, so he bought him a house in California.
Okay.
And he moved them out there so he could look after his parents.
Yeah.
And he did other movies after the Andy Griffith Show and some other acting things. And then he did Matlock. And when he did Matlock, he moved down to the coast of North Carolina.
Yeah.
He lived on Figure 8 Island at Wrightsville Beach. But he still had his place at Manio all of his life. He would go up there and stay too. And when he moved his parents in 1966, that's where they lived in California, and that's where they died. It was in California, and they're buried in California. Now, this house was not anything like it is now when he bought it. There was no front yard. The sewer pipe ran from the house to the street, kind of hanging in there, suspended. And the toilet was on the back porch. There was no heat in the house. There was a wood stove in the kitchen. Andy said he used to sleep beside of the wood stove. He said the toilet being on the back porch, he said it was cold when you went to the toilet in the wintertime.
Yeah.
He said there was no front yard, and he used to walk on the sewer pipe like it was a tightrope and ride it like a horse. And he slept by the wood stove, and he said, I don't know how my parents kept warm. He kind of grinned when he said it. It was just a basic house, and his father and some friends later on dug the basement out and used that for the front yard.
Okay.
And I would guess that was probably in the mid-40s when they did that.
Yeah. Well, it's pretty cool when you walk in there. It even smells like an old person's house.
If you'll notice in there, there's a picture of Andy and Cindy, his last wife, coming out the front door. He was here for one of the dedications. I think it was the dedication of the highway to him, and he spent the night in his house.
Okay.
And there is his autograph on the guest register that's framed, and a framed picture of him and Cindy coming out the front door, which I think is pretty cool.
Yeah. And Hampton Inn bought the house?
Hampton Inn bought the house. The guy that owned Hampton Inn at that time, his daughter is Tanya Reese. Tanya Jones now. She's married a couple times. She is in charge of the Surrey Arts Council, and I'm sure she told her dad that's something they needed to do.
Yeah.
Because the amphitheater that's across the street is the Blackman Amphitheater. She was a Blackman. Her dad, the guy that owned this, was a Blackman. And so I'm sure he bought it for those reasons. And he's a great guy. He really is. He's about 91 or 2 now. He's getting some age on. And he don't need to be worrying about this stuff anymore. Why should he? But anyway, he sold the Hampton Inn, and it's still owned by the company that bought the Hampton Inn from him. So that's a good thing.
You know what I would just think what a good picture would be? But I don't know if it's possible. Just tell me if it is. Could you take a picture of me sitting there and her sitting there?
Yeah, absolutely.
With this house in the background?
Yeah, sure.
Could we do that right now before you take off?
Yeah, I'm going to pull up a little bit so we can get more of it there.
You want to do that?
Sure.
Same day.
No kidding.
Now I'm going to pull over a little bit here.
What was that about?
Well, there's no definitive reason
Okay.
other than he just didn't want his family going through all that publicity when somebody famous dies.
Yeah.
You know, if you don't answer every question that is punctuated incorrectly, you know, you've said something wrong.
Yeah.
And he was more private in his later life than he was really ever been. Now, I told my wife when I die, I want to be cremated. I want my ashes dumped over the altar at the crowded Mayberry days. So I'm getting everybody's hair just one more time before I'm out of here. I told that silly tale to a guy in the back seat the other day. And he said, I told her when I die, I want to be cremated. I want my ashes dumped in the Walmart parking lot. I know she'll see me 5 or 6 times a week then. And I thought that is great humor.
That's good one.
That's real humor.
Yep.
I tell Silly that was great humor. Well, the first time Sheriff Andy Taylor was seen on TV was on the Danny Thomas show in 1960, Make Room for Daddy, where he stopped Danny Thomas, who was a businessman.
Yeah.
And that was the premiere of the show.
Okay, I didn't realize that. So that was based almost a spin-off of the Make Room for Daddy.
It was planned that way because Danny Thomas and Sheldon Leonard were, you know, kind of the owners really of the show.
Yeah, well, it was a Desilu production too, right? And
that's where the show was filmed, on the Desilu backlot in California.
Yeah.
It's now a industrial park. But anyway, when Don Knotts found out about it, he got in touch with Andy and said, don't the sheriff need a deputy? So Andy told him who to call, and I'm sure Andy called somebody too.
Yeah.
And he was hired to play the straight man to the comedian Andy Griffiths.
Uh-huh.
Andy said in an interview, I learned quickly that I needed to play straight man to Don Knotts.
Yeah.
Don Knotts won 5 Emmy Awards for the show.
Did he really? Wow.
And Andy did not win an award for the show.
You know, I remember the early shows, Don Knotts referred to Andy as Cousin Andy.
Cousin Andy, yeah.
But then they never really ever talked about that much after that.
I think that was in the first couple of shows they did together.
Yeah.
And
it was kind of like a joke about nepotism or something. Yeah. He said, yeah, that's right, Cousin Andy. I forget how it went exactly.
Wasn't his drawl really strong too?
Yeah, and Andy Griffiths' drawl was real strong on the first couple of shows.
Totally changed.
Yeah.
And that look he had, you know, them wide eyes.
Yeah.
And them big teeth.
He toned that down quick, it seemed like.
Yeah, it really seemed to change.
Yeah, I wonder why, or maybe he said, I just can't keep doing it this way.
Well, I think what happened when Don came on it, you know, he saw a better use of his talent than trying to, I'm going to pull around back because they're closed.
Trying to be like a dumb hayseed or something.
Yeah. But they were together 5 years. And when I remember seeing y'all on Main Street.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. I had the camera out the window. I said, get the camera.
Yeah.
Excuse me again, I got distracted.
That's all right.
We all do it.
They were together 5 years. And at the end of the 5th year, their contracts were running out. Don and Andy were talking, and Andy told Don, he said, I'm not going to renew my contract. And Don said, well, Andy, if you're not coming back, I'm not coming back either.
Yeah.
So Don had agreed then to do some motion pictures. But Andy changed his mind, and he decided to do 2 more years on the show. Well, Don said, I probably could have put the movies off, but I told the people I'd do them, and you kind of need to do that.
Yeah.
And when he left the show, it went from black and white to color. And Don left. The color shows are nothing compared to the black and white shows.
Right.
To me. I mean, everybody's got their opinion.
Yeah.
But Andy
That's when they gave Howard Sprague a bigger part.
Yeah.
And
gave all those guys more to do.
You had that other guy came in as the deputy.
Warren.
Warren. You remember that guy?
I don't think so.
Yeah,
He looked like a real idiot.
I can remember throwing my socks at the television. And I threw my shoes, but I never could find them. So, but it just,
Now, the name of what was when it changed to Mayberry RFD? Was that when it changed?
That's when Andy left the show totally.
Okay, that was after that.
That was in '66 and '67. Andy was still on the show, and it was still the Andy Griffiths show, but it was in color, and Don was only there in guest appearances. Andy seemed a little more tense, a little more harder to talk to, wasn't as funny.
Yeah.
Opie was a teenager then. He was playing in a rock band, and the whole show character changed.
Kind of losing its charm a little bit.
Yeah, well, it did to me.
Yeah.
Now I have had young people in here. Young people, I mean 8, 9 years old, that knew more about the show than I ever did, which is great.
Really?
But I had one girl in one day.
Isn't that somehow it's held up to the test of time? You know what I told her in that museum? Because the whole museum is all about the Andy Griffith show and Andy's early life and everything. And then one little window is about Matlock, and Matlock was on for 9 years.
And he made a truckload of money off of Matlock.
Yeah. But that just shows you the difference of how popular the Andy Griffith show was. I think Matlock was popular at the time, but wouldn't really hold up to the ages like the Andy Griffith show.
Well, I've had people ask me, and I really thought seriously about this. Did you ever watch Matlock? And I said, no, I just didn't.
I never watched it either.
And the reason I didn't is I wanted my image of Andy Griffith to be the sheriff on the show. That was just me.
Must have been different watching the Andy Griffith show, being from here and graduate from the same school, and you probably knew people that knew Andy.
Yeah.
You know people that knew Andy.
Yeah, still do.
Yeah.
He came back privately quite frequently.
Yeah.
And I say quite frequently, maybe twice a year.
Yeah.
When I was in a junior in high school, the senior class was doing their class play, South Pacific. That was 1966. In the fall of 66. That was the senior class of 66, 67. I was in 67. And I have photographs at home. He came back to town to help move his parents to California.
Okay, yeah, because you said it was in 66.
The senior class was doing South Pacific, and he went down there for some reason. And I've got a bunch of pictures of him with the senior class, the people in the play, and they're all grinning and laughing.
Biggest TV star of the time, right?
Of the time. He really, really was.
Yeah.
And it was, to see him, and he still had kind of got that wide-eyed grin, that he had. That I thought was just corny and hell, excuse me, just corny.
Yeah.
And it was.
It worked for him, though.
I'd do it, too.
Yeah.
If you give me $1 million, you can see my hind end quickly. If you get what I'm saying.
I'd pay you just not to see it.
Either way, I'd make the money. But, when it first came on, it was a funny show. But it wasn't, something changed. All of a sudden, it got more meaningful. And I don't know if that was just the time that we were in or what.
Yeah.
But when we first started having Mayberry days, they had a few people come and a few things, and it was okay. And then all of a sudden, it seemed like in 5 or 6 years, there's 8, 10, 12,000 people come to Mount Airy.
Yeah.
From Mayberry days.
Wow.
And they started having a golf tournament. And they started having the parade. And they started having characters come. And it just exploded. And you wouldn't imagine how many people have got cars like this.
Yeah.
And they come, and it's probably 20, 25 in the parade.
Yeah.
Of Mayberry cars.
Oh, that's cool.
Which is, it's cool.
Yeah.
A friend of mine did a General Lee car. And the reason he'd come to Mayberry days is because Jim Lindsay, the guitar picker in the show, who was in 2 episodes, was James Best, who was his Roscoe P. Coltrane in the Dukes of Hazzard.
Okay. Yeah.
And
oh yeah, that's right. I forgot about that he was in that. Yeah.
And my friend wanted him to sign his trunk lid.
Yeah.
This car was pristine. He trailered it up here from where did he live? Washington, North Carolina.
Yeah.
Great guy. One of the best friends I've made in my life from my store.
Yeah.
And he wanted to get his autograph, and he said, well, I'll do it for $25, $50. Well, them guys still ain't stupid. They're going to make money on signing their name.
Yeah.
He came in my store. I had the frame shop and gallery. And he was an artist, wanted to put his work in there, and I told him the commission rate. And that was fine. But he also wanted to come in during Mayberry days and sign autographs. I don't have much money. I didn't get a dime for that.
Yeah.
Which you see, that's fine. I had people in the store.
Mhm.
That's
Yeah.
kind of what I was
It
at.
was the draw, yeah.
And that was the whole thing was the draw.
Yeah.
It is what it is. I'm glad they did good. He actually lived in Hickory when he died.
Okay.
James Best did.
Yeah.
He was related to the Everly brothers.
Huh.
He was.
He was in a lot of early TV.
Oh, yeah,
I've
a lot
seen
of
him in
westerns
tons
and-
of stuff.
yeah.
Yeah.
He was in Twilight.
Even Twilight Zone. I was just
Yeah.
gonna say. I
Yeah.
remember seeing him in Twilight Zone.
Yep.
And say, you know who that is? I'm big on that with her. She's like, no. I go, that's Roscoe P. Coltrane right there.
Yep.
Yeah.
He was also in the one Ode to Billy Joe. You remember that movie?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
He was in that.
We just saw that not
Yeah,
that
we
long
did.
ago when I
Yep.
pointed him out to you.
It's
We were just watching that on television not that long ago.
YouTube is a great thing.
We have a YouTube channel.
Oh, do
You're
you?
going to be on our YouTube
Oh
channel.
Lord, don't.
I'll show you where you can find it. You just said it was a great thing.
Yeah, but I'm not. If I'm not on it, it's even better.
We're Happy Wanderers on YouTube.
Not the Happy Wanderers, just
We're Happy Wanderers on
Yep.
YouTube. Yep, we've been
I
making.
have seen that before.
Have you watched us? You wouldn't be the first one to say that.
The Happy Wanderer.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
fine.
we've
See
been
that.
making videos since what? Probably December.
Yeah, before we left. Yep.
I'll look
Did
at
all-
it. I'll do that when I go home. Right
Yeah.
now.
Yep, I put taglines on it: work, camping, full-time RV, all that stuff.
Yeah, that's where I get, because I go on there and look all the time. That's
Sure.
kind of the dream that we both had. But
Well, we watched everybody you can imagine that doing this work camping thing for a year before we left home. We had our favorites. I met one of my favorites out in Lake Havasu,
yeah,
Arizona, the Adventure Van Man. Just happened to make a wrong turn with that truck and parked right next to his van. And I'd watched him for a year. It was like meeting Andy Griffiths himself for
Yeah.
us, because this guy was like a celebrity. And then we ended up going out to lunch with the guy we hit it
It
off
was
with
very
so
cool.
well.
Yeah.
It was kind of surreal actually sitting there talking to him.
He was as nice in person as he was
Yeah, he was.
his persona on film.
So if you're enjoying the videos, folks, please like, share, but most importantly, subscribe. You'd be amazed what you'll see if you get off the couch. Have a great day.